Morning everyone at Unique Kids, and welcome to the second Art with Holly summer workshop. So over the course of summer we're going to be running different craft activities each week, and they started to run now on a Thursday, so 10 to 11 on Facebook Live. Today we're going to be making a beach scene, and I have already posted the activity and the materials, but this is actually the second workshop back on Facebook Live as well, which is great. And we'll be back here, like I said before, every Thursday, 10 to 11. And each week will be a different craft as well, which is handy. I have sent the link out as well, so obviously these workshops are for Unique Kids, but anyone can really join in and get creative. As soon as you're in, just message in the comment section just so I know kind of who's in and what's happening. I think we've got Sarah and Christine possibly joining us, maybe Stephanie. Yeah, just let me know. So I think we're going to crack on now because we've got quite a bit to do, I think. We're going to be making a beach scene, so we're wanting a cereal box or some sort of shoe box. I've got some pens, I've got straws, glue, scissors, coloured materials like coloured paper, coloured card, and I do have a few paints as well with me, so if you'd like to make along with me then that's great. So I'm just going to push all of this coloured material, I think, out of the way at the moment. And I'm just using a shoebox actually for this. Right. So what we're wanting to do is it's going to be like a mini theatre in a way. So we've got like the base, and then we'll have some sort of backdrops. What we can do actually is just cut the lid off our box. Now you can really do this with anything you want, you don't have to use a shoebox, you could use a cereal box or some sort of delivery packaging. So I'm just going to cut the lid off using a pair of scissors. And as soon as you're in as well, message in the comments section so I know who we've got and who's joining today. I think Sarah and Christine said they were going to be joining, possibly, so if you are, then that's great. Right, so you can use really either or, but I'm going to use the bigger base of the box, I think. And then we're wanting kind of like a backdrop, but then the front is going to be cut out, I think, so it's just easier to play around with. So I'm just wanting you to cut down the side and then across. So again, for this you're just wanting a box, either a cereal box or a shoe box, just something that you can put things inside. And if you remember from last year's summer workshops that we did from July onwards, we actually used lots of packaging and different things, and we made collages and different scenes and everything. I'm just cutting it out just so we've got something like that for our work to sit inside. Now what you can actually do as well is use the extra bit from the top and just cut the sides off just so we've got a flat piece of cardboard that we can use to work with. So like I said before as well, all these workshops will be every Thursday 10 to 11, and we'll focus on summer crafts at the moment. So I've planned quite a few activities right up until summer, until September. So again, if you would like to join, then just join the Facebook Live. And it's nice and easy because it's the same link every week as well, which is great. As soon as you're in, I can see a few people, as soon as you're in, just message in the comment section. If we've got Sarah and Christine here, then let me know how you're doing. Right, so at the moment I'm just cutting down my box just so I can add bits in, ready? And really this is going to be like a mini scene or a mini sculpture or something. Now this bit you can either put on top and it'll just kind of slot in there, like that. Or you can use it at the bottom to add more stuff in to our beach scene. So I think what I'm going to do is tape it to the bottom and just cut it a little bit at the side, just so it fits in properly. And then I'm just going to use, I think, some blue tack and then some masking tape just to tape it to the bottom, just so we've got something like that. So really at the moment we're just making a box for our work to sit in, and the box is going to be the work. So just get a bit of blue tack or tape or something. Just get a little bit off. There we are. Now for this craft as well, think about different materials you can use. Now I've got a lot of paints, a lot of colour paper, colour pens. Again, we probably won't use all of these, but again, a mix of materials is quite nice when you're doing crafts as well. So just bear that in mind. I'm just going to roll up kind of little small amounts of this blue tack and just kind of stick it along the side, just kind of close to the edge as well. So something like that. And then we're just going to overlap it and then just stick it onto our box. And maybe use the edge of some scissors or something just to flatten it down. There we are. So we've got something like that. And then if you flip it over, you can then just use a bit of extra tape. Just tape it at the back, just so it doesn't kind of come loose. Just a few bits along the edge. There we are, so something like that. So you don't want a lot of tape, but just enough to hold it in place at the back. So then if we flip that over, we've got our box ready to then start making it. So what we're going to do is, the back will be blue, and then the bottom can either be a sandy kind of colour, we can have a beach mat or something in here. So what I'm going to start doing is getting my colour paper, I think, for this. So you want in a mix of stuff, so possibly a bit of blue, a little bit of yellow and orange, I think, as well. Let's just get a few different shades out. So I'm actually using a mix here of card and colour paper as well, which is quite cool. And then after this, we're going to make a palm tree as well. So all this extra cardboard that we've got, we can save and use in a few minutes. Right, so what I'm wanting you to do is use this blue paper just for the backdrop. So that's going to be the sea or the sky. So we're going to probably have all of this bit blue, I think. And then maybe around here as well. And the base is going to be like yellow and orange, so possibly for that, think about tearing up materials and think about how it's going to look, I think, for that. Right, so now what I'm going to do is just glue this blue card. Just don't put a lot of glue on, but just enough for it to hold down, I think, as well. Now it's important not to use too much. You know, if you've got any PVA glue, you could possibly use that. But again, don't use too much of it, just because PVA glue does get a bit runny and it is very time consuming to dry as well. So think about the drying time of it. So if you've got a Pritt stick or anything to hand, or some tape or blue tack, then again, I would use that. And then what I'm going to do is just get my scissors and just cut off the extra material. Now this is a really good way of covering the page, just by adding glue, sticking it on and then trimming it down after, rather than kind of trying to cut it down to size and it not working very well. I mean, what you could always do as well is just tear it off the side. That could also work. Right, so now that we've got the first bit, the little backdrop of blue, we're then gonna cover the rest of it. So for this, I'm just putting an extra strip or something, just to cover this little area there. Again, go back to our glue stick and just glue the rest of this square. Now for this, you can use tissue paper, you could use coloured paper, you don't have to use exactly what I'm using either, which is great. I think about paints, you could use some paints or something. Right, and then I'm just going to cut my extra a little bit. Just make sure that the whole of the back is covered with that blue material if you can. Right, and then we're wanting to move on to the sand in a minute, and then we're also going to make a little beach mat, a little parasol, so we can have some cardboard figures to go inside our beach scene, which is great. So I'm just going to then do the same for this bit, add some glue on, stick it on, and then trim it down once it's already stuck on. It is actually quite easy to do that, I think, rather than trying to measure the exact size for it and then it not fitting. At least this way it's guaranteed to fit where you're wanting it to go. And then I'm going to flip it over again. I might just quickly stand up and just trim along the side. And then down. There we are. So we've got our first side done here. Add a little bit more glue on. So if you think you need more glue, don't hesitate in adding some. Right, so far we've added another side on here. Now we're going to just cover this other bit in blue as well. So I can see that's not going to be enough, so I'm going to get a new piece of card. Now what you could also use for this as well is you could use like foam or tissue paper, scrunched up tissue paper for a bit of texture. So again, think of other materials that you could possibly use for this activity. And also think about other things you can add in. What do you use on the beach? If you've got any polystyrene balls, then you could maybe paint those and they could be like 3D footballs or something. So think about what you want to add in, I would say. I'm just going to trim this bit down here as well. So what we're doing at the moment is just decorating our set, ready to then add our kind of beach themed designs in. Right, so as you can see, we've covered it in blue. We're going to cover this bit down here in like a yellow or an orange or something. So for this, I think I'm just going to work with torn colour paper. So I'm just going to keep tearing pieces like this up. So just gradually until we've got none left. It's just a mix of different sizes as well. It will be quite good. Now for this you can also use paint, but I might work on the paint in a minute actually. You could even add paint over the top of the colour paper, that could be quite interesting. And we're also going to make a little castle as well, like a little sand castle or a little kind of shelter area on the beach. So we'll do that, we'll make our palm tree, we'll do our beach mat and we'll do a parasol. So we've got 4 different sculptural things that we can make using the extra cardboard, some cereal packaging, and we've got a bit of tape here. So again, some really basic materials. Just going to keep tearing up this colour paper. So again, a mix of different sizes, which is quite good for this one. So just a few smaller bits of coloured paper. There we are, something like that. So now we've got our pile of coloured paper. I'm just going to put that to the side, and then we can just start sticking. Now I'm using a coloured, a cutting mat, sorry, as well. So again, use something just to protect the table, and then you just stick as much of the colour paper on as you can. Don't worry if you can't cover all of it, or you've got, you know, cardboard coming through. It doesn't matter, because you can always use paint as well to kind of cover it up as well, which is quite a good use of the material. So I'm just gonna keep sticking, just keep doing this and repeating it just until the whole of the base is yellow. If you've just joined, or you've been in before, just kind of comment in the section just so I know who's in. If you've got any questions or any ideas, then let me know. Now these summer workshops as well, there'll be just like one activity each week, as opposed to what we did with the card fill stuff on Zoom, where we were doing like one activity for the whole of the 8 weeks. I think it was 8 or 9 weeks in total. So quite a long time. But these activities are going to be focusing on the theme of summer, you know, very fitting as it is July. So each week we'll have a different summer themed activity for you all to join in with, for you to do at home. I know Unique Kids is reopened now, so you could all be doing it in there. And then don't forget to send me any photographs as well, any crafting things that you've got for me. So I'll just show you what I'm doing so far. I'm just covering the whole of the base in coloured paper. I'm just filling that up just until we've got a mix, like a mosaic kind of pattern of different colours. So I'm just building that up gradually. So again, we've got two different kind of collage approaches. We've got one with just using block colours. We've also got one where we're using torn bits of paper and everything. So again, different approaches to collage, which is great. I actually quite like the mix of different colours, like tearing up the paper and sticking it on. I actually do quite like that. So if you do too, then let me know. All these flat edges and any corner bits I'm getting, I'm obviously using those for the corners and for the side, just to make it look as neat as I can get it. And with these videos as well being back on Facebook Live, as soon as it's over I can share it, it'll get saved. So if you're not watching it live, you've always got the option of watching it in your own time. Just head to my Facebook profile and then obviously you can check it out from there. So if you would like to join any of these workshops, then don't forget they are live every Thursday. They used to be Fridays, but I have changed them to a Thursday now. So same time on Facebook Live, just on a Thursday instead. So I hope you can all make that. If not, then you can still message in the comments section, even when the live's already been, you know, posted and everything. You can still message in there and I'll still see it, and I can still reply as well, which is great. So if you have any questions and you're not in the video, you can still message on there, and obviously I'll get back to you as well. Right, so this is the bit that takes a little bit of time, just building the set in a way. Now a lot of you have asked as well is if we can have these workshops longer. I think an hour is quite good in terms of like an attention span for an activity and for a craft thing. I do think it is enough time for the things that I have planned, but again I can speak to Jordan about that as well and see what we can do. Right, so gradually my collage is building up, looking more and more colourful, which is great. If you need some more colour paper as well, just go and get some, don't hesitate. And try and mix as well. If you're using orange and yellow or any other colour for sand, then try and mix the different colours if possible, if you're using more than one. And if you're just using one colour, I still think the torn paper effect looks really good actually. I mean, I know it's a bit time consuming, I know it takes a while to do, but it looks great. So if you would like to do that, then give it a go. And through these workshops, we're just exploring different kind of art making techniques, different ideas, different materials, just using a select amount of materials, but also doing very, fun, colourful kind of crafts. They usually involve different materials, and I always suggest different things that you can use, but they are very 3D. For example, what we made last week, we made these really cool, they do spin round, they do, these really cool like DIY windmills, just using colour paper, some plastic straws, and again a really good material to have in the garden as well, so again really cool for that. Just using again pins and blue tack. So these workshops really explore materials, recycled materials, sculpture, that kind of stuff, so very 3D things. So last week when I was outside, I actually photographed and filmed the windmills kind of moving in the wind, and they look really good. Obviously it's harder when you're inside, but we make some really cool and interesting crafts as well. And these workshops have been going on for now about 13 or 14 months. So obviously we stopped when I went back to uni, and then we restarted in at Christmas time, and then just kind of carried on from there really. So if you would like to join, then again do message, let me know. If you're from Unique Kids and you'd like to join, message Jordan, just let her know and everything. That would be really good. Right, so at the moment I'm just filling in the last little gaps of my 3D beach scene, and then we can start making the first of our 4 things. Now I think I'm going to work on the beach mat first. I'm just going to make a nice simple checked beach mat using 2 colours. Think about pattern as well for this. You can use different colours, different things. If you've got any little models or any, like I said before, little polystyrene balls, think about maybe making a little football or something. So different like 3D things that you can put in. And if like me you need some more colour paper, then don't hesitate in experimenting with layering as well. I do think collage in different colours and layering does look really good, so if you would like to have a go at that, then please do. Got another yellow here that I can use. Got an orange too, so I'm just going to use my orange and yellow card and just tear a few bits up just to fill in the gaps. Something like that. You don't need a lot if you're using bigger chunks like this. And then again go back to the glue and just fill in the gaps with this material. So again, alternating between the different colours. Possibly even using some different shades of orange and yellow as well. That could be quite interesting. Now this is actually being recorded as well, so although it gets recorded for Facebook Live, it also gets recorded as like an art tutorial in a way for YouTube. So if you would like to learn how to make a beach scene or how to make a windmill like we did last week, then again check out my YouTube channel for that. There's some really cool like DIY crafts and stuff you can really get involved with. And any ideas, any photographs that you've got from these workshops, then again, just let me know. Right, you don't have to fill it all, but as much as you can, I would say. So this is now the kind of beach scene with the sky at the back. Now what I'm going to do as well is actually, I might use this just for the back, but again we can maybe add to it later if we want. The first thing is the beach mat. So I'm going to use some recycled card. Cereal packaging. I'm just going to move this sculpture out of the way. So I'm just going to open up the cereal pack. And we're just wanting a square. That's all we're wanting for this. Just a square. And then select 2 colours, depending on what pattern you want to do. I'm going to select 2 colours and use those to create my beach mat design, my checked beach mat design. So I'm wanting a square from this, so try and cut as straight as you can. There we are, so something like this. And then we've got 2 colours, so I'm going to choose maybe a purple, and I think a nice green as well. A purple and a green. I think they're 2 colours that work quite well together as well. Right, so what we're going to do now is kind of hold the colour paper over just so we can decide exactly what size to do it. There we are. And then we'll do the same with the purple, just so we've got roughly the right size for our checks. Just going to hold the green over that I've just cut, and then just cut down the side, and then while we've got them together, we're just going to then cut on top. And then we've got our checks, so we can then place them in the areas of the board. I'm just going to say board, that might be there. Now, they might not be exactly the right size, but they'll go on roughly like that. And then again, go back to our glue, start taping, do the same with the other one. There we are, so we've got our first kind of little beach mat, so we can stick that inside our scene. So something like that. And then now we're wanting some sort of parasol, so for that I'm going to say get a plastic straw or something. Just going to open that out. And then we're wanting to kind of make the cone shape for the parasol. So what I would say is either use white paper or some card. Now here I've actually got some like light blue card that I could possibly use, and you're wanting something like that that'll just sit nicely on the straw. And it's all to do with how you're folding it as well. So it's maybe something like that, and then it'll kind of puff out. So what we can do then is hold that in place now that we've got our kind of cone shape, and then just cut across the side there. And then I'm just going to quickly get my masking tape. Now with this, what we can actually do is paint over it. So don't worry too much about seeing the tape or anything like that. We can just paint over it. And then, so at the moment it looks quite a flat pack. Looks like I've squashed it. But I'm just doing this just to secure it and just add the tape on. And then we can obviously open it out. There we are, so again, more tape on there. And then just use the scissors just to kind of trim it down to size. Maybe add some tape inside as well, if you can. Maybe just a small strip for the inside, just because this will obviously be the bit that you'll most likely see. And then the idea is it'll sit something like that on there. So we've got some blue tack that we can use as well. Let's have blue tack on. I did have some. Okay, well I did have my blue tack. We can always use some masking tape if you like, actually, instead. So what I'm going to do now is get my black straw and then just kind of trim it kind of like that. Just don't cut too much off. And then the idea is, I might use another straw for that actually. The idea is it will sit on the inside of like the parasol. Oh, there we are. Something like that. So maybe don't trim it. I'm just looking for my blue tack. Not actually sure what I've done with it. So I'm just going to use for this masking tape. I'm just going to get kind of a piece like that and just going to roll it over. And then if you take that at the top of the stick and then do the same on the other side, just so it kind of wraps around, and then you can just stick it on the inside and it'll actually just stay there. There we are. So something like that. And then we'll just use some masking tape, I think, for this bit here. And I'm just going to cut a slit up the bottom of the straw. And it'll kind of open out like that. So then open it out on the side. just add tape to the little bits that you kind of poked out here. There we are. Just add some sellotape or some masking tape just to keep it in place. And then what we'll do is we'll do the painting, I think, at the end. There we are. Right, so if I turn that around, so far we've got a little beach mat and a little parasol so far. Right. And now we can make a little kind of castle to go on there. So I've got a toilet roll tube or something that we could use. And I'm just going to flatten it and cut it roughly in half. And then the idea is we're wanting the kind of, I'll show you, if you just kind of cut down and then cut across and then cut off, so something like that. And then maybe do another one here. So it looks like some sort of little castle. That can also get stuck in or taped or blue tacked in, depending on what you're using. I've actually got a little bit of blue tack down here that I can use. So I'm just going to use that just to tape and stick the bottom of this toilet roll tube to the work. Just kind of blue tack the side, and then that should then rest inside the work. And again, don't worry about getting blue tack on the outside, because you can just paint over it. It is a bit fiddly just to do this. And think about what else you can add into your little beach scene as well. If you've got any suggestions for me, then let me know in the comment section. So I'm just going to stick our little castle down. Maybe hold it together with some extra, maybe some extra masking tape. There we are, so something like that. Right, and then we can make our little kind of palm tree as well, if you like. So for this, you can either use a straw again, or you can use like an extra piece of cardboard that I'm going to do. And then get a cereal box and just start cutting the leaves out using that. So yeah, something like that can then just be layered up and put onto this. Think about different sizes as well that you can use. So again, these are going to be the little palm leaves for the tree that we're doing. Don't forget as well to message if you want in the comment section. And this video will be shared and it's obviously being recorded, so you can watch it back after as soon as it's finished. Right, so we've got quite a few little cutouts there. And then we're also going to use this that can then kind of bend over and then stand up, so something like that. So then the leaves can then be taped on here. So again, just use a bit of masking tape. And we can just tape these leaves on. Just in any way you want as well, which is great. Just tape them on in different positions. So yeah, something like that. And then that can just get taped nicely into the box. Maybe some tape on the back and then underneath some glue tack, I would say. And then again, this can get painted as well. So just put some glue tack underneath the cardboard and then just some masking tape kind of around the side. There we are. Just so it doesn't fall down. Just keep adding that glue tack on. And maybe put some tape kind of around the side as well. There we are, and then we've got something so far like that. And then what you can also do if you want is then maybe add another little beach mat on this side or another parasol or something. So just something to fill out the space. So again, I'm going to go back to my cereal packaging and then cut out another square, maybe a bit bigger this time, just to fill up the space. And then I might use the same colours as well for this bit actually. So I do quite like green and purple together. It's quite a good combination. So I'm going to hold the green hard over and then just trim down to size. And then I'm going to do the same with the purple. Just hold it over and then trim it down to size. And then now I've got my two pieces, I can then just cut in half like that. And then just get some glue and tape it onto this beach mat square that we've got here. Don't forget you can keep adding to it if you want, so maybe you could put in a bucket and spade or something like that, so something beach related. So I've got another little mat there. And then I might add another castle into, like we've done over here, because I do quite like the castle idea. So yeah, something like that, and I'm just going to cut it at the bottom just to make it different and a little bit smaller. And then that can also go at the front here with the blue tack. And then we can start painting as well. Now what you could also do for this is make a little mini model of what we had last week. So maybe like a mini windmill or something, that would be quite cool to add in. So again, you can just see what I'm doing now, just adding blue tack at the bottom. And then I'm just going to push it onto the design like that. Just I'll somewhat keep it in place. And then I'm just going to go to the masking tape quickly and get a few strips of that. And then after this we're going to crack on with the painting. Yeah, so we've got something like that for our beach scene. And if you want, you can add other bits in as well. Maybe think about making another windmill or a mini windmill or something to put in here. And what you could always do is add an extra bit at the back if you like. So maybe take that on and then, you know, add a different colour or paint it or something. And that just slides in there. I could paint this here actually. We've got plenty of masking tape here actually as well. I'm just going to get a few extra strips. And then just tape them kind of vertically down to the back, just so it stays in place. And then maybe add a bit of blue tack in underneath as well. There we are. So here is our finished beach scene, which we can then paint now. So here I've got some different kind of colours that I can use. I'm going to start by painting the back to go with the blue. So again, you can add a bit of white onto. So I'm just going to really layer this white and blue on, just to make it kind of stand out a bit more. And just be careful not to splash the paint over like the rest of the design as well. There we are, so just add plenty of paint kind of on the back there. There we are, so something like that. And then the castle, think about some different colours that you can use for that. I'm going to work on the palm tree, so again just adding some green over the cereal packet here. And then for me, the castle is actually going to be, I think, red, a nice red. So I'm going to paint this one at the front here. At the moment I'm just kind of working my way around this mini castle at the front and just getting all this red paint kind of covered over. So again, you should have something like that. So already you can see more and more colours being added, and it's kind of coming to life a lot more, which is good. And I'm going to work on my other castle and add a bit of orange to that too. Now obviously what you can do as well is where the masking tape is, think about adding some yellow and orange paint just to kind of cover up the masking tape that you've got on already. Now what I'll be doing as well after the workshop is photographing actually the design, so I can show you all the finished kind of beach scene outcome as well. And think about other materials you can maybe add to this, other things that you could kind of put in the scene as well. That would be really cool. And then for the trunk, what you can always do is maybe add a little bit of black just for the bottom here. Again, I wouldn't use too much, just to kind of blend it in like that. And then if I turn this round, you can then see kind of what I've done so far with the colours. Now what I'm going to do after this workshop is actually add in the paint over the masking tape, so just so it doesn't look like the masking tape on the colour paper to start with. So if I hold this up, then you can see we've made our beach mat, we've made like a little parasol in the background, we've made some castles, and we've made a palm tree as well. So again, it's been a really great workshop. I'll be photographing this and letting you see the finished thing. What you could do maybe is add a sun or something at the top here. But I hope you've really enjoyed the workshop. It's being recorded. I can share it on Facebook after. So thank you very much for joining me, and we'll be back on Facebook Live next week, 10 to 11, with a new summer craft activity. See you later, everyone.